Shalom Uvracha, everybody. Welcome back. This will be our final class of the Pesuk analysis series, also mining the Peshat. Let's turn to our lesson placard. So today we're going to be finishing up the very last Pesuk, the last verse of Perek 12, the Perek Aleph Bet, the book of Genesis. This class really represents a pretty significant accomplishment. For those that have been tracking with me from the very beginning, you've gone through approximately, I haven't counted them all, I'm guessing 70 to 80 videos, which that's significant. You've digested a lot of material, sat under a lot of instruction, done a lot of homework assignments, and so I want to offer a hearty mazel tov to you. Congratulations on making it this far. So we're going to finish up the small verse, and then the very next video will be invested in me leading a reading of the entire Perek, the entire chapter of Genesis 12. It will be uninterrupted and without comment, without translation. So it'll be the magnum opus in terms of reading assignments, and it'll pretty much conclude Module 1 of the Pesuk analysis. Let's jump into our lesson today. Would you read with me here today? Vaitsav, alav, paro, anashim, vaishachu, oto, va'et ishto, va'et kol asher lo. Let's try that again. Vaitsav, alav, paro, anashim, vaishachu, oto, va'et ishto, va'et kol asher lo. One last time without the annotation tool. Vaitzav alav paro anashim, vayshelachu oto va'et ishto va'et kol asher lo. As with the previous several lessons, I have not provided an English translation that you can visually look at, but if you could download the Scribble sheet, you can use that. I'm going to be marking that up. Okay, so the first word, vaitzav, identify the roots by drawing a box around it. Tzava is the Hebrew word to command, and that consists of the consonants tzadeh, vav, hey. And as with almost all third radical heys, they're weak and they tend to drop out. We've seen this repeatedly, even in just the last 6 to 8 verses. So let's take a look at what we'd call the baggage or the add-ons. We've got a vav conversive here, the vav meaning and. The conversive aspect reverses the tenses. A prefixed vav, which is the third person masculine singular pronoun for the imperfect, meaning he will do something. So if the root means to command, he will command. And then the vav conversive reverses the tenses of that, and it becomes and he commanded. So and he commanded alav. A couple things I'll say about alav. So first of all, the root of the word is actually a preposition. So you have an objective pronoun appended onto the back end or the end of the preposition al. This particular preposition, if you looked it up in a lexicon and you tried to write down all of the meanings of this word, you'd be a bit discouraged because there's about 50 or 60 different unique definitions. We're more concerned with what is the primary definition that is used more than any other definition and seeing if that fits. And if that doesn't fit, we can go to the next one. I've actually taken the time, did a little bit of work ahead of time for you. As we see down here, if you look closely, you'll see a capital A here. So it had a B, a C, a D. I'm not going to invest lots of time in this, but just to say that this word primarily typically means upon, on the ground of, on the basis of. I've underlined contextually the one we really need to choose because contextually it makes the most sense. It's on account of, because of. Whenever you have a preposition and you have a pronoun that's been appended onto the end of that preposition, like we have here, pronoun appended onto the end is always going to be in the objective case, meaning it stands in the place of like a direct object. So the vav is the third person masculine singular objective pronoun meaning him. And we would translate the first 2 words of this pasuk, and he commanded concerning him. And the him is Avram, contextually. And now it's going to tell us who did the commanding. So the prefix yod in vaitsav is a reference to the Pharaoh. So Paro did the commanding. So we can insert Pelo, Pharaoh's name, and Pharaoh commanded concerning him, meaning Avram. Contextually, that's what it means. He commanded his men concerning him, concerning Avram. So let's track with the actions of the Anashim, the men that are around Pharaoh, just to see what they did, and that will give us some sense of what the command that went forth from Pharaoh's mouth was. Next word, by Shalachu. I want to mention whenever you have a closed syllable with a shva beneath it, and it has a degation in it, you'll pronounce the shva that appears beneath that letter. So it's Vaishalachu, Vaishalachu. Let's identify the root of this Hebrew verb. Shalach is a common Hebrew verb meaning to send. And we've got some baggage added onto the end. What is the baggage? We have a vav conversive meaning in, which reverses the tenses. We have an imperfect pronoun, which consists really of two components. Whenever you have the prefix yod, and then the shurek at the end of a verb, it will mean they. They will do something. The vav conversive reverses the tenses, and it's translated and they sent. And they sent. Next line, we have the untranslatable et, an objective pronoun, third person masculine singular pronoun appended onto the end of the et. So they sent him, another reference to Avram. So we see here that the vav on the end of alav is a reference to Avram, and we see that the cholam aleh, which is essentially a vav with a degesh on the top of it, or a dot on the top of it, that is a reference to Avram. Continuing on, Va'et ishto. Okay, so they sent Avram away, and we have an untranslatable et. They sent ishto. They sent his wife away. So we're not going to break down ishto. We spent a lot of time on ish, isha, ishto. Ishto simply means his wife, and it's a reference to Sarai. So he sent Avram away. He sent Avram's wife away, and the vav means and. Another untranslatable et, kol asher lo. Kol means all. Asher typically means which, could mean who, could mean when. Kol asher lo, all which. We have to add the word was. This is a verbless clause. We've seen that come up a number of times. All which was. We have to add that's not represented by anything in the Hebrew text. It's assumed. To him. All which was to him, all which was his. Let's run through this one more time. So Vayetzav alav pelo anashim. And we see the atnak right here telling us that's where we're supposed to pause. And this can be translated, and Pharaoh commanded his men concerning him. V'shelachu oto va'et ishto. And they sent him and his wife away, or they sent away him and his wife, va'et kol asher lo, and all which was to him, all which belonged to him. So the Pharaoh had given him a very large amount of gifts and rewards before his crime had been exposed, but he didn't take those away from Avram because he was still afraid of Avram. He just wanted to wash his hands, get Avram out of his hair. And so this was the great sending off, or we could say the great expulsion of Avram from Egypt. Well, this concludes the Module 1 Pasuk Analysis series. And so I'll put the cap on it here and look forward to having one more lesson with you where we will perform a major reading of the text together. You'll be able to put a lot of the things that you've learned during this course to use. Blessings to you guys. The teacher out. Shalom, shalom. We'll see you momentarily.